Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll do this up front tonight. There will be a closed meeting after the regular meeting tonight. In your package, you have the minutes from the June 7th meeting.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve. And second, any corrections, additions, changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting reports. Public safety.
I actually do have two things tonight. We had budgeted for a new building behind the fire station, and we've actually decided to take a different route on that. But we are wanting to put in some storm shelters at the fire stations. The bids for the storm shelters are opened up this morning at 10:30. Harbor Enterprises, they bid $5,993.13. ForCmo.com Incorporated out of Malden bid $5,485.50. And Lowe's Home Center bid $5,993.13. The bids did not indicate the concrete pad that the storm shelters actually be going on. So on behalf of the Public Safety Committee, recommend that we take the ForCmo.com bid at $5,485 apiece.
That's for one. It's 25,000.
Right.
427.50.
Yeah, that's the reason I said bid for 5 shelters at 5,000. Yeah, total of 25,427 cents, whatever, and plus the concrete pads. And that's in the motion.
We're going to do the pads ourselves.
Yes, that price included the 2 pads we needed to do. We called the concrete today, and they gave us a good ballpark figure based on the depth and size.
Nick, is that a motion?
Yes, that's in the form of motion.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries.
And then I have one more. I guess I'll just read this. The DPS Administrative Office Building has 2 heating and cooling systems. Last week, the west end of the unit went out, has a hole in the A coil, and we need to replace it. And it's going to be roughly $8,500 since it's 100 degrees outside and it's 80 degrees in the building. We make a motion to just go ahead and push that through as an emergency situation and get that replaced. Yeah, I did talk to Mr. Wheeler in the Finance Committee about that.
What company is going to do this?
This one here is $8,500 through Duncan's. Like I said, since it's an emergency situation, that's how we just push it through and get it fixed, or get a new one. And that's in the form of a motion.
Motion. Any second? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And that's all I have at this point in time on public safety. I believe. Correct. And I do have a brochure from the company about the storm shelters if somebody wants that.
Paul, you got some more?
And since Bill's not here, we will have our regular monthly street committee meeting next Tuesday at 5:30. We can put that out for everybody to be aware of. And then the 28th.
Thank you.
And then we've got an applicant for our opening that we have at the compost that we want to discuss in closed session about getting him hired. So,
And Mr. Carter, if you was wanting a storm shelter at the compress, that company will do it for the same price. And also, members of,
They offered that same price to any city employee until our project is complete. After that, that offer will go away. They do give a 10% discount. We got that because we're public safety oriented.
Does the public know why we're doing this, if we discussed it?
Well, the idea behind it is, there's no way the city can afford to protect every citizen in a shelter. I mean, we'd have to have shelters all over the place. When you look at what happened at Joplin and several others, where the tornadoes actually hit the fire stations, and we looked at that, there was no deaths, there very well could have been. We looked at, you have to have first responders to be able to meet the needs of other people. Even if the trucks are destroyed, not usable, a lot of the equipment that we would need, you can get out of the compartments, put in a pickup truck, and use for rescue. So these are very small, they're made for about 2 to 4 people to get into for a short period of time. And it's, you know, with these people being on duty, we have somewhat of an obligation to protect them.
So they can protect,
So they can, in turn, respond to the community's needs.
I made mention of this at the City Light Gas and Water Board meeting at noon today, just on what we were doing, and if they have any desire to tag on to what is happening here, be a golden opportunity if they choose to do that. I have no idea what the direction they want to go down there, but at least make them aware of it.
John, didn't the basement of the courthouse, it used to be the disaster, I know used to, they would, if there was a storm or something came up, the custodian went and unlocked that for people, and they used to harbor there.
I don't know if that's done anymore. That would probably be more come down through the county EMD.
But I mean, that was opened up for anybody wanted to come in there.
And what you have to realize, this is what I got a call today about the heat. Is there any cooling shelters open? I said, well, the city doesn't have any because you don't just open a building and let people come in. It takes a certain group of volunteers to be there to make sure there's some security, there's activities, and things like that. And it's the same thing with a tornado shelter. And if you ever go out to hospital when there's a tornado, they all crowd in that ER. There's no way you could, that they're going to be able to function down there. That's a
One
concern.
point that was termed as the fallout shelter.
I can check with Lady Kelly to see if it's still used, it's still available.
I'm sure it is, and I mean, I remember in my time over there, that used to, when that would happen, the custodian would unlock that bottom door and people came.
Mr. Malott, you said the storm shelters for 2 to 4 persons, is that
Well,
correct?
it could be
Or is it 4 to
6.
6 persons?
4 to 6.
Okay, well, I was just looking at
I'm
these
sure you
prices.
can get a dozen
Okay.
in there if it's,
Standing room only.
Well, yeah, I was just looking at
I'm
these
sure,
prices.
kinda
Okay.
like college kids, if it's there, you're gonna cram a dozen in there, but
Okay,
it's,
I just wouldn't be on the same page.
You see that tornado coming, you can get a whole lot more than that. Anything else? Finance?
What part do you want to talk about?
Start at the top, work
I've
your way
got the
down.
budget down under new business.
Okay, well, then I'll forego that for now.
Any other topics other than budget?
Well, if there is, because we somehow managed to, I didn't get back with it, but we got $20,000 in our safety and wellness incentive. And I've been presented with 3 different items there to use up the 20,000. One offering some college degree incentives. You know, if someone is willing to go and do the extra work to get a college degree of any sort, whether it's associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, anyway, then would get a supplement in their pay in proportion to the amount of work. So, and I don't know how many people we actually have on our payroll right now that have any form of a degree. But even for future reference, this could do work. They recommended $90 a month for an associate degree, $150 for a bachelor's degree, and $200 for a master's degree, which would be as a separate check each month over and above their payroll. So that could come out of part of that health and wellness thing, I mean, that we've offered. Murmur wants us to offer some kind of incentives, all right? And we're going to be going to a Murmur meeting here before long, but all of this would apply to that. Also, a second plan would be to offer some relocation payment. If someone comes from another city and takes a job here, not necessarily offer them the relocation payment up front, but once they have met the requirements for qualifying for the job, then have up to, allow up to $500 as reimbursement if they choose to relocate. Because it's to our advantage to have them live in Kennett. And right now we have some that do not live in Kennett, but you know, if there's some incentive there to relocate, then maybe that would help. All right, so we'll look at that as another issue. The other part of the incentive that Murmur was looking at would be if a person doesn't miss any work due to injury on the job, or, I mean, if they have a scheduled doctor's appointment, that time would be allowed off, whatever. The point being, if they don't miss any work, then each quarter they would get an extra $50. And if they have good attendance and whatever for the whole year, at the end of the year they get a separate check in the amount of $200 if they meet each quarter. Which, you know, that for all the employees on the city side would be, it'd be $13,000, which we, I think, planned and put in the budget, and some of these other factors would, anyway, the $20,000 we got in there was probably covered that plan, but I want to address it as a separate issue down the road, where you guys can have a copy of this and read it and study it and whatever, but it sounds like good incentive for our employees.
Just to piggyback off that, I got a couple of incentive programs that was given to me as part of our HR meeting that we want to have, and I'll get you copies of those to look at as well.
Okay.
Because that's something we're hoping to discuss at our human resource meeting if you can be there, but I'll get you copies of them. There's two different incentive programs that was given to me.
We have some extra money in reserve again this year, which, you know, we'll leave that over to cover these plans if we choose them.
Chamber of Commerce.
So, I'm going to cover two things tonight. First would be our big tourism event we had last week. The Ride the Bicycle Tour came back for the second year. We were graced with them 2 days this year because of a construction issue in another town. So they choose to come back, which we hope that they will next year. We probably won't get that benefit of 2 days, but we definitely took advantage this year. We were the first stop on the tour on Sunday. They had a really hard time getting here because of the heat, and they biked 72 miles, and so by the time they got here Sunday, they were really tired, but we had some music and entertainment and some food out there, so they had a nice day. And Tuesday was a much different scenario. I wasn't expecting them until about 11, so I was taking my time to set up. Well, here they came at 9. The wind literally blew them to Kennett from Perryville. They didn't have as far to go, and then when they got here on Tuesday, they had a lot more energy because it wasn't so hard to get here, so they hurried and showered, went out to the restaurants for lunch, went to the pool, the library, the laundromat, all kinds of different places I didn't even think about. Came back, then went back out again for supper. So I hope a lot of our vendors and restaurants really saw the benefit to all these visitors coming. I really want to appreciate the police department for helping get them into town. The fire department gave lots of hospitality to them and helped them with their way and let them park their shower trailer there, and even gave them coffee on both the mornings, and that was really appreciated. Kennett JC's came out both days and sat with me and helped me entertain them and provide them with beverages. And there was just a lot of different agencies that came together for this one event, so it really benefited our community. I feel for a small investment, we got a big return. I feel like that's something that we'll be able to continue to do, and I'd like to see other events of that nature that travel around come, so we'll see what we can find. The next thing to piggyback off of that was, you all know that we've been building the website, visitkennett.com, for several months. It's up and running, and I was able to get it up before the bicyclists came, so I was really able to test it out and use it with them. So on their brochures that they were given by their group, it said for a list of restaurants, dining, entertainment activities, visit Kennett.com, has all this for you. So it had maps and menus, all kinds of different things about different areas in town. And instead of using, paper brochures, they were able to go to that digital format on their phones and find their way around town. So that was a great pilot for our website to see it get to some good use. So that's up and running. Anybody that would like to make an edit to their listing just needs to get a hold of me, and I can add YouTube videos, commercials, menus, anything that the businesses that are involved with tourism would like added to their listing. They just gotta let me know. That's all I got. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good job. Dr. Human Resource.
Just gonna hopefully try to have a human resource meeting soon. I'll send out some dates on that. And hopefully right now, just looking at some incentive programs, like I mentioned to Roger, and I'll get with him on those. And then any other concerns that the department heads may have or anyone has, I sent out an email just asking them to send anything they might be concerned with, and I got a couple of incentive programs to look at, so I'll get with Roger and share those with him and get some dates out soon, hopefully, now that the budget has been developed, and that's hopefully behind us shortly.
Street?
Thanks to your generosity, backhoe left town today, going to Jonesboro to be fixed. We went ahead and took Barney to Poplar Bluff to the truck shop up there. They disassembled it last week and tried to weld on it Friday or yesterday, I'm not sure. They said they thought they'd have it ready for this Friday, so hopefully we'll have it back in service too. We're not done with the asphalt work. They came and they were looking at long stretches to get down a lot of tons pretty quick. They had some MoDOT contracts that were time sensitive, had to be done on certain dates. So they were trying to get, quite a bit of stuff done on that. They will be back. We've got more overlays, we've got more gravel streets to do and stuff like that. So, but they just were in the bind to get out of town and get that work. Everything else is just hot and still running.
Mr. Carter, I got a nice compliment today from the northeast part of town on the asphalt work that's been done there. The citizens really appreciate it.
We try to spread it out all over town, and this trip, they got most of it. They don't have to, we try to stay in an area where they don't have to load their machinery and move, so we try to get one area at a time.
Well, they said to pass it on to you, a job well done.
Thank you.
Public safety.
A little bit of activity this last week, of course. News media, we had the tragic accident and death that occurred Friday. And like the Missouri Highway Patrol, their EDCC crime unit that assisted the Kennett Police Department and their accident reconstruction team came down to work that. One of the best things to have to see reported on news and stuff. Prior to that, the PD was hit with a virus in some of their computers, and they've got them up and going. They've recovered all of the lost data. They've done some things to change it around where someone out there can't get in with a malicious virus and hack all the computers and the backups and all that other stuff. Big thanks to Brad Floyd, a part-time Kent police officer who works also for Holcomb Public Schools, that spent 40+ hours in here recovering and getting stuff back and getting up and going. Big hats off to him on that. The new patrol cars came in Friday, 2 for the police, or getting the decals on them. one for me is we have it handled outside. Fireworks, just let people know the tents are up, they're starting their sales, so next 2 weeks will be a lot of banging, popping, and all that other stuff. Just hope we get a rain in between now and the 4th to kind of green some things up that don't cause a little bit of natural cover fires. Also, talking to one of the sergeants today, I think they're planning to try and get with the mental health group to do a post-traumatic stress debriefing with any of the police and fire that were at the incident. Hopefully, you know, a lot of people wonder why and see the tragedy and bears on their mind. And this is a way that years ago, first responders are not immune to the effects of it themselves after time and time again. So we're just trying to head off anything. And other than that, I guess things are going along, we're winding down the budget in all departments, and nothing else to report on unless anybody else has anything, any questions. Anything? Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Down to fire range, Mr.
Since the council authorized me to explore the possibility of establishing a shooting range in the city or near the city, this past April, I've met with the Missouri Department of Conservation. Mr. Malott went with me. And I've talked to a lot of local citizens to see if there's a way to pay for a range and see if there's any public support. Mr. Malott and I met with Dee Dee Dawkins, who's the outdoor skills specialist with the Missouri Department of Conservation in Cape. She stated that they would really like to help design and fund building of a range near Kennett. We met on May the 16th. Since then, I've spoken to many citizens of Kennett and have received absolutely positive, overwhelming support for a rifle, pistol, archery, shotgun, and police training facility. I asked Ms. Dawkins if Kennett offered to dedicate land to the project, would the value of the property count as part of Kennett's in-kind match, and she said yes. That opened up a whole lot of possibilities. The building funds would come in the form of a grant from Missouri Department of Conservation's Cooperative Range Grant Program or from the federal Pittman-Robertson funds. Those funds are more or less a 25-75% match between the Missouri Department of Conservation and Kennett. So Kennett would supply 25% and MDC would supply 75% of funds. Simply stated, the property, labor, materials, and equipment that Kennett could offer to dedicate or donate to the project would count and be matched by grant funds. Kennett would still own the land. We don't have to sell it to them or give it to them or anything like that. And we would also